What if instead of a time gate we saw a Stargate?
Ooh.
You know, so like Kurt Russell, James Spader.
Yeah.
You know, they get instructions. They have to build something, but it isn't Contact. They go to a different. They go to a different planet. They go to a different planet, a different world where they're aliens, but the aliens are clearly Egyptian. So it's like, oh, I get it. That's they built the pyramids. Yes, that's right. And then like the godlike figure is the transsexual actor from The Crying Game in her only other role that they ever really played after The Crying Game. Dill was the character from The Crying Game. Stephen Ray, directed by Neil Jordan. He finds out that Forrest Whitaker's ex-girlfriend, all right, let me back up here.
Yeah.
Okay, so
please start from the beginning, Kyle.
So
I think you may have lost everybody.
So Stephen Ray, he works. He's you know, this is back. First of all, this is several years ago.
We're just gonna go ahead.
So
and
he works for the Irish. He works. He's an Irish terrorist working for independence.
This isn't happening.
Okay.
So
what did you say, Mr. Scorpion?
What? It's in my nature. Michael Caine said that the only American he ever thinks did a Cockney accent right was Forrest Whitaker in The Crying Game, and he does do a really good job. Forrest Whitaker's pretty fantastic, except in Rogue One. And he's pretty good in Black Panther. He's good in Black Panther, but he is an excellent. He plays a Cockney soldier. All right, and then he gets kidnapped by Miranda Richardson and Stephen Ray, but Stephen Ray, who has to watch him, they realize, hey, he's Irish, he's British. Maybe they're not so dissimilar after all. Maybe they could have been friends were it not for this political strife that's now separating them.
I can't.
Okay?
I can't.
And so
I can't do this. There needs to be. You have like 7 seconds to get to a fucking.
So what happens is he can't bring himself. So the order comes down.
5
They're
seconds.
trying to get them to release somebody. It comes down. He tries to liberate Forrest Whitaker, but what happens? I'm not going to spoil it for any of you, but it doesn't
sexually
go as they
liberates him.
But then he moves back to the city. He changes his name. He cuts his hair, and he finds Forrest Whitaker's ex-girlfriend. Because Forrest Whitaker, before he dies, says, find Dill, and take her to get a pump
Forrest
at the
Whitaker
measures.
dies?
Listen.
What the fuck?
Okay.
Why did you spoil
I
this
didn't
fucking
spoil
movie?
how it happened. It's more about how things happened than what happened specifically. He goes back, he finds Forrest Whitaker's girlfriend, and he falls in love with her. Okay, but meanwhile, maybe some of his old buddies from the Irish terrorist
movie
thing.
is
It was
this?
The Crying Game. Come on, man. It's so fucking good.
I have no idea. I didn't.
Neil Jordan.
First of all, I never knew The Crying Game took place in the context of
talked
political.
about it last episode.
I know we
We
did.
talked about with Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
Yeah, but understand.
You need to understand the reference in Ace Ventura. You like Ace Ventura, therefore you need to see The Crying Game so you get it.
I get the Crying Game reference. I understand that, but you have to understand that when The Crying Game came out, I was like 7, so I never watched it. The only experience I had with Crying Game was looking at the VHS, and knowing at some point later in my life what the fuck happened, what the reference to The Crying Game is, right? So based on the VHS, I just made up what the movie was. And it never had fucking political strife between the Brits and the Irish. And it definitely never had Forrest Whitaker dying.
Here's what's beautiful about The Crying Game is that it's a sort of badass political thriller, espionage thriller that the transsexual thing just does genuinely hit you out of surprise there, which just complicates an already complicated situation.
And it's really almost done more for symbolic reasons, because really what ultimately happens, you see, is that the person who Stephen Ray really fell in love with was Forrest Whitaker. And so then at the end of the movie, and he's basically the Irish terrorists are coming back and they're going to kill his new girlfriend. In order to save her, he cuts off her hair and makes her look like a man and dresses her as a man again. And the only men's clothing that are available is Forrest Whitaker's old cricket uniform. So he dresses his new girlfriend, the new person he's in love, and has to save her life, and she's dressed as Forrest Whitaker and is also a dude, and then has to save her, thereby saving himself for, and redeeming himself for the sins that he committed earlier on.
Hollywood is so gay.
Yes. This wasn't Hollywood. This was
what was it?
It's a British film.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Crying Game's a British film?
Yes. I said Cockney accent earlier.
Well, that means it takes place in British places.
And I said And what about the struggle between moving to London, the British and the Irish? Did you think that this took place in America?
I didn't think it took place in America. I just didn't think it was a British film. I thought it was like a Hollywood movie, like Last Samurai, not a Japanese movie.
Are you sure?
Pretty fucking sure it's not a Japanese movie.
Really? Then what's Ken Watanabe if not a Japanese man?
He wasn't the Last
Answer
Samurai.
that.
I'm just saying he was not
really
the last
nice
samurai.
of those Japanese people to like make Tom Cruise be the last samurai.
Yeah.
But here's
So
here's another feature that's
It's
great.
like Godzilla. There's an alternate cut with
Yes.
no Tom Cruise in it.
Yes, exactly. Just like Godzilla. That's a good point. But here's what else is great about the crying game. And what I thought about is
Why?
like the crying.
With Armin Hammer
I
Hall.
don't understand
crying
anything
game-
you guys are talking about right now.
What else is good about the crying game? Is the
We were
crying game is
literally
one of those.
just talking about CrossFit. Like
Yeah.
this came out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, you know what's more
I feel
interesting than
very
CrossFit than crying?
blindsided.
It's gonna seem as if this episode was edited in
Which
some
is a-
way,
which is a
really fucking poorly.
Which is a perfect segue into the point that I was going to make about the crying game.
Go ahead.
The crying game came about at a time like I watched it when I was a kid, and movies would just come on cable, and so you would just sort of randomly drop into the middle of movies. So I randomly drop into the middle of the crying game when it's a film about Stephen Ray and Forrest Whitaker, and he's a hostage and he's taking him prisoner, and it builds this very dramatic climax where Stephen Ray has to decide whether or not he's going to kill him or whatever. What all this stuff happens. So I just assumed that that was the end of the movie. So when you just drop in when you're a kid, there was no digital cable like where you could check and realize that you were only 20 minutes into a movie. So I watched the film once all the way through that point, and probably was a kid and sort of just shortly thereafter changed the channel or turned it off or assumed that that was the end. So I thought the crying game, the first couple times I saw it, was just a movie about two guys deciding, in a hostage situation. Then it was on again, and I was like, this is really good. I wish I could see the beginning of this movie, which is what I was watching. So I started watching it, and then it's like, oh, he moved to London. Oh, and he found his ex-girlfriend. Oh, and now he's falling in love. And pretty soon I realized that what I assumed when I was a kid,
Was the
just
whole
walking,
movie.
was the whole movie.
It was just exposition.
Exactly. It was like literally the first 20 minutes of the movie. And that's a wonderful thing that I think that you don't get anymore. Because even if you're watching something on Netflix, you're watching something, whatever, you're always watching it deliberately.
Yeah.
You're always like click. And if you don't want to know like how far, even if you have digital cable now and you turn on the middle of a movie, you can just click and you can see, oh, it started 15 minutes ago, and put it in context. There's no way to really replicate that anymore. The idea of walking into the middle of a movie. You don't know if you're 30 minutes in. You don't know if there's 15 minutes left. You're just in the middle of it.
It's funny you should
know?
say it because that's exactly how I felt watching Twin Peaks: The Return. It could have been the first episode. It could have been the 15th episode. I had no fucking idea what was going on or who was talking to who for what reason. I was just like, this is happening.
Yeah.
So I got this idea for a startup, guys. So it'd be a video streaming company, right? Except that when you log into it, it's just playing a thing. And it just plays the thing through. And, like, you don't know if it started, if it stopped, like, when things...
Well, actually,
like,
the interesting thing is I've heard that's what...
out.
Doesn't Shudder do that, which is a horror movie streaming service? I think they have, like, a 24-hour channel that you can click on that just
There's
starts
actually
a movie.
a couple streaming companies, actually, like, it's funny, WWE Network also does that. Like, they just have a thing where on their homepage, there's always a thing playing.
Oh, and
no
the
what.
FX app does that as well with episodes of The Simpsons. They have episodes of The Simpsons running 24 hours, and so you can just like you can pick any episode you want of The Simpsons, or you can just click on like Simpsons World or something, and you just drop in the middle of the
So we
episode.
finally worked our way back to TV.
To TV. But it's more efficient TV, and here's the reason why. I don't need 200. I don't need the home and garden television channel, but I would periodically like to be able to revisit, to click random movie on Netflix, or to drop in the middle of something.
The CrossFit game.
Yes!
It's in this one. That's great.
The perfect hype. See, here's what, and Dakota confirmed this for me. You started work on the CrossFit thing, but then we shifted. You started work on the Stargate thing, and then we shifted so hard to the crying game. You're like, damn it! I had already pulled photos of Kurt Russell.
That's so good. Oh, god damn it. I don't have enough shoes to send you. This is so good.
Also,
Clydesdale CrossFit.
There we go.
Fantastic. Hair by FloElite. That's so good.
beautiful.
I love it. See, that is my horse analog.
This
right
is
there.
the type
Super
of-
jacked and beautiful.
This is the type of talent that we need on the FloElite roster. So, okay.
A thruster ladder.
I
I just want to point that out.
There's
Tony Siemens wrote in and said, thruster ladder increasing by weight each round.
They've already done their substantial strength.
Yeah,
portion.
I think it's more likely to do like death by thrusters, like dumbbell thrusters, death by dumbbell thrusters than they would be.
But the thruster ladder will be dope. I just want to co-sign it.
They did that at regionals like 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
But at a certain point, doesn't it just kind of become a clean ladder, though? You know, like do people max out when they just can't get the weight? I guess no, it doesn't. Really,
No,
the
you
overhead
can
is the
fail
more
the-
limiting.
yeah,
Yeah,
you can
Yeah,
fail
because
the
you can't
thruster.
dip or anything.
Yeah.
I watched Die Hard on my flight back.
It's a good movie.
It's a great movie.
Sure is.
It might be a perfect movie, guys.
It's pretty close to
Pretty
it.
damn close.
Pretty close.
And I realized that I was watching an edited version,
Oh.
which is a bit of a bummer because
For time or content?
content. No, and which is it's very strange because right before that I watched a movie with a lot of motherfuckers and a lot of blood. So I was like, "Why are you editing?"
Did you
this?
accidentally click on like the family friendly
No, I
version?
just picked the movie out of the action.
It's probably because like American Airlines has had like their version of Die Hard like
yeah,
slugged away
for, like,
ever
20
since
years.
the days where they just played it for the entire fucking.
I think it's
the
really
entire
interesting, by
movie,
the way.
or for the entire plane.
The like the plane cuts of certain things. Like I ended up watching this is, I don't know, maybe last summer or whatever, on a flight I watched Civil War. So you know, Captain America Civil War. And one of the things they cut out or they cut around was the bit where the rogue Avengers are escaping, War Machine's after them, Vision does his little laser beam thing and hits War Machine. And so he hits War Machine, and then it cuts to, instead of him plummeting from the sky and crashing on the ground, it cuts to Tony Stark going, what happened?
That's weird.
That is really
was
weird.
That actually
hilarious.
makes a little bit of sense on a flight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
You
and
don't
that's
have
exactly
any-
why.
you know what?
You want people to be triggered by the idea of
Yeah.
falling from the
falling,
sky.
Yeah, 50,000 feet or whatever. But I remember watching, I was like, that's... Oh, I'm in a plane.
Yeah, that's
funny.
that's interesting.
I wonder if they learned that lesson the hard way, like they put Fight Club on years ago
It
with
was
a midair collision.
It was actually really weird when they I was on a flight a little while back and they had United 93 on there.
That's a weird. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Extremely loud and incredibly close.
There you
Or
go.
Eraser, Arnold Schwarzenegger's masterpiece.
Yeah, so where he jumps out of the plane after the parachute and
Yeah.
grabs it, puts it on.
That's
midair.
right.
So
I watched
cool.
Skyfall the other day.
There you go.
The Bond movie?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Skyfall.
Skyfall.
I
You
get
get
it. I get it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, tell me more about the Bond movie, please.
We could keep going. Passenger 57.
Yes.
Snakes on a plane, of course.
This
No
is
more.
not.
That's
This
it.
is no
This is
fun.
not
There's
good
nothing
content.
funny coming out
No,
of here.
no, we're just naming movies that airplane.
But I think we glossed. I think we glossed over the most important discovery of the evening. Godzilla. It was a Japanese movie without
true.
any American actors in it initially.
Yes.
And then an American cut was made where an American actor was inserted into the movie to
What?
react to Japanese characters.
I see.
What?
Yes, I
No
see.
way!
Such that
does.
this was a gag on Animaniacs.
Animaniacs.
Yeah.
What?
I see.
Yeah, it's the reverse of what we do with Chinese or American movies in China now.
But basically, there was this big hit in Japan, monster movie. They brought it over here. This was in the 50s, and so they just edited in several scenes with a white guy reacting to things and like his own story, and then intercut that with the monster footage. And so now you can get both versions in the United States. You can get like often the Japanese version, at least with like Criterion, is marketed under Gojira instead of Godzilla. But still, yeah.
But in Animaniacs, I forget the context in which I was using Animaniacs, where they just cut to an American guy in a suit saying, "Yes, I see."
It was funny.
God, Animaniacs is so good.
All those shows were
Oh,
good.
yeah.
And Animaniacs is coming back, I think.
Is it really?
They're going to do new episodes on one of them things, which, you know, it's like with that kind of stuff, it's like, you know, guess it depends who's writing it, you know, but it's good.
Fair enough.
Yeah. What's his name?
Steven Spielberg?
Rob Paulson, the voice actor
Close
who
enough.
did Yakko and Pinky on Pinky and the Brain. I think he did an updated Nations of the World song where he
way.
to add
The
new
map has
countries.
changed a bit,
The map
yeah.
has changed, yeah, to add the new countries in. But he's still like to this day, like as a party trick. Like I've seen footage of him like at a convention or something where he's on a mic doing a panel and someone asks him to sing the Nations of the World, and he'll sing the entire Yakko Nations of the World song from memory.
That's
So,
incredible.
Pretty crazy.
Well, I mean, you got to make your money somehow.
That's right.
And when you're going to conventions, you just have to be ready for that sort of
yes.
request.
Yes.
All right.
Hey, update. We're halfway to our goal of raising money to get Dakota Rager Spotify Premium.
Dakota Rager doesn't have Spotify Premium. In the middle of his 1330 performance of 18.3, a commercial played.
Boo.
Chase noticed this, and as a true follower of Christ, thought to himself, I need to help this man out. And so he created a
GoFundMe?
Yeah.
GoFundMe for $9.99 to
And we're halfway there already.
Yeah.
Wow.
1 month of Spotify Premium.
So shout out Luis. Or Lewis, I don't know how to pronounce your name, dude, but thank you for the $5.
Yes.
I think you should add a stretch goal for just the full year.
Yes.
Nah.
I wonder,
That might be
though,
asking too much.
what kind of score could he get if he didn't have to listen to an ad for Dollar Shave Club in the middle of his
for sure.
in the middle of his thing?
It's
mean,
not
we're
what you want
talking
for optimal performance.
12s, 11s maybe.
Yes.
No, it is really distracting. Like you're in the middle of your workout, you're in the zone, and then all of a sudden, like, you're right. I could get a better shave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was for a Ring, like a doorbell thing.
It was for a Ring.
Oh, for
like a
Ring. Didn't
doorbell
Amazon
ring
just
thing.
buy Ring?
Someone just bought Ring for a
We
lot
should
of
buy
fucking
Ring
money.
here in Austin, Texas. It's a tense week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A couple people just got blown up in Austin with packages, which I didn't think would affect me as much as it did until this morning. I opened my door and there was a package sitting, and I knew what was in the package. It's Quest cookies because I fitness. But I gingerly picked it up, moved it inside, and then
Right.
left the house. And I'm just like, hopefully that'll blow up in
The
there.
only thing that Quest cookies blow up are your asshole.
So no, I went home for lunch. I went to go grab some lunch, and there was a package at the door,
Yeah.
and I have not ordered anything recently.
Oh, God.
my God.
And so I walked over there, and I like the name thing was facing one of the columns,
Yeah.
so I like just kind of inched it like over. It's like, okay, it's for the roommate. But
Just poked it with a broom.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny. One of our producers, Melissa Lamar, the other day got a package and literally poked it with a broom.
Oh, Jesus.
Dude.
I just get a softball and throw it at it real quick. All right,
like-
that jostled it about a bit. I think we're good. Shit, I broke my new
But this is the best
Walkman.
part. Like, so I moved the thing over. So I was like, okay, it's for the roommate. I pick it up, and as I'm like juggling like my bag, like my water bottle and the other stuff, like and like unlocking the door, I end up like dropping it. Like,
Your life flashes before
it's
your
like,
eyes.
oh no. Okay, it was just some clothes.
It's just close.
I just dive into that package eagerly, and it's like, you know, that's you know, just
Cliff
sweet relief.
just wants to die.
No, see,
Package opens it. Aw.
The only problem I've had before is just laziness and planning ahead. It's like, oh, good, someone did the work for me.
Just gotta just do it.
What's really funny is when Cliff's disappointed look when he opens the package. It goes off, but then he just has like a soot-covered face, and it's
Or his duck bills are backwards.
Dude,
Rabbit season.
One of my buddies, when we were still in this office here at Old HQ, one of my buddies mailed me a package, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." Like, I don't know what he's sending me. Like, maybe it's a shirt or something. And then I opened the box, and it's a tube, and I was like, "Oh, he got me like a poster." Okay,
Cool.
so I like take the tube, and I'm like looking at it. And I open the back end, and
You hear some scurrying noises.
it is a spring-loaded confetti bomb. And as I open it, just confetti right in my eyes. Like at my desk, surrounded by my coworkers, of loud popping noise and confetti under my eyelids in my eyeballs. And I'm laughing uncontrollably because the only other option would be to break everything near me. Because everything
guys,
is covered in fucking
I'm
glitter.
just saying it's tasteless, but this might be a very interesting moment to send someone a confetti bomb. It would take them off guard, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, the confetti bomb was a little much. It hurt. It hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
So
Actually, could you imagine like the person who just before the news of this broke
had ordered
sent
a
a
confetti
confetti
bomb.
bomb to their
Ooh.
friend in Austin, Texas? Ooh, oh, boy.
Yeah. Well, that I think would do it for today. Tomorrow, tomorrow night during the live announcements, we will be doing our live companion stream on Facebook, right where you're watching this. And if you don't watch it there, then you can watch it later, but you're not going to be able to listen to it. Those of you who are listening to it, which is most of you,
Yeah.
The way you listen to this, you're not going to be able to listen to that. So you have to watch that.
You have to watch it.
And I promise you, it's much, much more entertaining than the actual open announcement.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean you can't watch the open announcement, because we are watching the open announcement while we're doing this. We just put it on mute.
And the sync between those two different Facebook live streams is going to be perfect.
Well, yeah, just mute the open announcement. You don't need to listen
really
to the commentators like, oh, he looks tired. These strict handstand push-ups are really going away. You're going to want to rest a little bit longer. Like, listen, we can cover all that shit.
So if you're listening to this, as many people might be, Thursday morning, right?
Sure.
Some people. This
Maybe,
is
probably
posted
not.
Tomorrow morning.
No.
We should probably get it up faster.
No.
But if we do, then hey, tonight if you're going to watch the open announcement, or tomorrow if it's now, then I would say what you got to do is you watch us on your laptop, and then you take your phone out and you play the live stream, because who cares?
Yeah. No one cares.
No one cares.
No one cares.
We'll tell you everything you need to know.
That's right. Let's get at your social medias. Let's get out of here.
I am at Mr. Kyle Bogart on the most sensual Instagram account on the internet.
Hold on now.
The most sensual.
We need to prove this. Hold on now.
Everyone go to at Mr. Kyle Bogart right now.
I mean, usually you say best goddamn, and I know that that's not the case. But sensual, you might actually be the most sensual, and I need to know now. Mr. Kyle Bogey.
You're right. It does have Dave on it.
It's true.
It's very sensual. The second
we go.
post is you covering something until it says ass.
A lot of ass pics on mine.
So that is already bumped up to top 5 most sensual.
Yes.
All right, Clifford.
I'm at not Clifford Bogart, but at Cliff Bogart on Instagram.
That's right.
And I am at a supersonic man on all of the things.
And I'm Chase504 on all the things as well.
He actually has a much more sensual Instagram.
Yes,
Very,
yes.
I mean, we're talking
His doesn't
just
have Dave.
Very true. And we just hit our goal.
What goal?
GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations,
Already.
Dakota Rager! You get 1 month of Spotify Premium.
And it's all from the same guy.
Oh shit!
And he commented on the post, and he's like, just did it. Can't wait to watch 18.4 with no ads.
Man,
Awesome.
that guy's the real MVP. And I am at Armin Hoists. Thank you so much, folks, for listening and watching. And we will catch you during the 18.4 companion stream. And if not, then we will catch you next week. Later.
Wait.